Hey guys, welcome to Y&R Daily Update YouTube channel. Today's topics. Y&R hints, Sienna and Audra may be aligned after Claire's visit reveals almost nothing. On The Young and the Restless, Claire hoped Sienna would expose Audra, but she walked away with almost nothing. Now the clues point to a far more complicated connection. On the December 11th episode of The Young and the Restless, Claire went to Sienna for dirt on Audra. Sienna only confirmed what Claire already knew about Audra and Holden, but she didn't drop any other tidbits. Is it because Sienna and Audra are actually working together? Key takeaways: Audra has a mysterious past. Sienna has a mysterious present. They both have Noah in common. Coincidence? Drips and drabs about Audra from the time Audra Zulica Silver first showed up in Genoa City in September of 2022. We've been getting hints about her past in bits and pieces. She and Noah Lucas Adams were involved in England. She miscarried his baby Audra, teamed up with Tucker Turver St. John. She has a criminal past with Holden Nate Owens back in LA, and Sienna Tamara Brown was a part of it, though she claimed ignorance to Claire Haley Aaron. Who's Sienna? We know even less about Sienna. She's married to Mitch, Roger Howarth. She claims not to know that he used to be Matt. She had an affair with Noah. She knows something about Audra and Holden, but she isn't about to tell Claire. Yet everyone from Victor Eric Breton to Nikki Melody, Thomas Scott, to Nick Joshua Morrow, to Sharon Case, to Claire assumes Sienna has some sort of agenda regarding Noah, but we're the only ones who suspect it involves Audra. Noah is the man in the middle. Was it just a coincidence that Sienna, who knows Audra from her club days, had an affair with Noah, the guy who broke Audra's heart years ago? Audra stole some money from a guy connected to Sienna, or so we've been told. What if Sienna wants a cut of that? And what if they come up with this plan together to get money out of Noah? Meanwhile, Audra is taunting Holden. Could that be a part of their plan? 2. Noah has shown that he has no sense. Thanks to this Sienna and Mitch story, Holden is blinded by his infatuation with Claire. What a perfect time for two smart women to strike back. Subscribe our channel for more latest update. Sometimes, the loudest story beat on The Young and the Restless is silence. No shouting match. No explosive confession. No dramatic reveal. Just a scene that feels deliberately empty. Claire's recent visit with Sienna is one of those moments. A sequence that offered almost no concrete information while somehow managing to raise more questions than answers. And in true Y&R fashion, that absence feels intentional. The most intriguing takeaway isn't what Claire learned, it's what she didn't, and what that lack of information strongly suggests: that Sienna and Audra may already be aligned, quietly operating on the same wavelength, if not actively coordinating behind the scenes. This isn't a storyline built on overt scheming, it's built on implication, restraint, and the unsettling sense that viewers are being shown only the edges of a much larger design. Claire's visit, an exercise in narrative withholding. Claire's visit to Sienna should have been revelatory. On paper, it was positioned as an information-gathering mission, a chance to clarify motives, assess loyalties, and perhaps expose hidden agendas. Instead, the encounter was marked by vagueness, polite deflection, and emotional neutrality. Sienna gave Claire nothing. No slip of the tongue. No telltale reaction. No contradiction to seize upon. That alone is telling. In soap storytelling, characters rarely withhold information accidentally. When a scene feels unproductive, it usually means the writers are protecting a reveal that hasn't yet ripened. Claire walked away with no leverage, no clarity, and no proof, which suggests she wasn't meant to find any. And that raises the obvious question: why? Sienna's calm isn't innocent. Sienna's composure during the visit reads as practiced rather than passive. She didn't appear rattled by Claire's presence, nor did she seem curious about Claire's intentions. Instead, she projected the kind of calm that comes from knowing more than you're letting on. This is where the alignment theory gains traction. If Sienna were acting independently, or worse, reacting in real time, we would expect cracks, a defensive tone, a moment of but Sienna offered nothing extraneous. Every response was controlled, economical, and emotionally flat. That kind of restraint often signals preparation. It's the behavior of someone who has already anticipated the questions, perhaps with help. Audra's invisible fingerprints' absence from the scene is precisely what makes her presence feel so strong. The storyline has trained viewers to recognize Audra's influence even when she isn't physically on screen. She is a character who thrives in indirect power, shaping outcomes without announcing herself. The idea that Sienna and Audra may be aligned fits seamlessly with Audra's established modus operandi. She rarely moves without a buffer, and she almost never exposes her endgame early. If Audra wanted to keep Claire off balance, ensuring that Sienna revealed almost nothing would be a masterstroke. Claire went looking for answers and came back with uncertainty. The one state Audra exploits best. The power of almost nothing. What makes this storyline effective is that it resists the temptation to overplay its hand. Instead of confirming an alliance outright, Y&R leans into ambiguity, and ambiguity is fertile ground for tension. Claire's frustration becomes the audience's frustration. We are meant to feel stalled, suspicious, and unsettled. The visit doesn't move the plot forward in obvious ways, it deepens it. By revealing almost nothing, the show invites viewers to read between the lines, to track behavior rather than dialogue. This is slow burn storytelling at its most confident, Claire as the outsider. Again, there's an irony to Claire's position here. Once perceived as observant and quietly formidable, she now finds herself on the outside of a potential alliance she didn't anticipate. Her visit to Sienna underscores a growing pattern. Claire is increasingly reactive rather than proactive. She senses danger, she feels excluded, but she can't quite prove it. That powerlessness is new and destabilizing. If Sienna and Audra are aligned, Claire's inability to extract information becomes more than a temporary setback. It becomes a sign that the game board has shifted without her knowledge. And Claire hates nothing more than being a step behind. Y&R Sienna. Alignment makes sense, from a narrative perspective. Pairing Sienna with Audra is a logical evolution. Audra benefits from having someone who appears neutral, unassuming, or disconnected from her reputation. Sienna, meanwhile, gains protection, insight, and strategic cover by aligning with someone who understands Genoa City's power dynamics intimately. Together, they represent a different kind of threat, not loud, not flashy, but quietly coordinated. Unlike Claire, who prefers control through information, Audra controls outcomes through momentum. Sienna's role could easily be to absorb pressure, redirect suspicion, and keep conversations contained. Exactly what happened during Claire's visit. If this is an alliance, it's not built on loyalty, it's built on mutual usefulness. The gendered chessboard. This storyline also subtly reframes female power on Y&R. Rather than pitting women against each other in open warfare, the show explores how alliances form and how exclusion can be just as damaging as direct confrontation. Claire expected opposition. What she encountered was something more unsettling. Opacity. Audra and Sienna, if aligned, aren't challenging Claire directly, they're depriving her of information, which is far more dangerous to someone who thrives on clarity and preparation. That choice reflects a more modern, psychological approach to conflict, one that relies less on spectacle and more on destabilization. Silence. As strategy, it's important to emphasize that Sienna's refusal to offer details wasn't defensive, it was strategic. She didn't deny anything outright, she didn't confirm anything either. That middle ground is intentional. By revealing almost nothing, Sienna preserves plausible deniability while simultaneously confirming Claire's suspicions. It's the kind of move that invites paranoia without offering proof. A classic pressure tactic. If Audra coached her, the lesson was clear: say less, not more. The audience is being let in, slowly. One of the smartest aspects of this arc is how it respects the audience's intelligence. The show doesn't announce an alliance with dramatic music cues or heavy exposition. It trusts viewers to notice patterns, tonal shifts, and behavioral consistency. Claire's visit functions as a test, not for Sienna, but for the audience. Did you notice how little was actually said? Did you notice how controlled it all felt? Did you notice who benefited from that silence? Y&R isn't confirming anything yet, but it's pointing what this means going forward. If Sienna and Audra are indeed aligned, the implications are significant. Claire will escalate. She won't accept uncertainty for long. Her next move is unlikely to be another polite visit. It will be a strike designed to force a reaction. Audra, meanwhile, thrives when others make the first mistake. Letting Claire stew in suspicion is a strategic gift. Sienna's role may expand from passive participant to active gatekeeper, someone who controls access, information, and narrative framing. The conflict ahead isn't about secrets, it's about who controls the flow of truth. Final verdict. Almost nothing says everything. Claire's visit to Sienna revealed almost nothing, and that's precisely why it matters.